YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. How y'all doing? Welcome to the conversation. I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor, and for about the next hour or so, we're going to be talking about all things cruising and trying to answer all of your questions. Oh, I almost did a Tony there from Lolita Loca, cruising. So I hope y'all are doing well. As always, my wife, Rebecca, is sitting right off camera, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. If we can help you in any way with any of your travels, just reach out. where'swaltertravel.com. Our services are 100% free to you. So who's all here? Oh, my goodness. We've got, we've got Sue, Eric, Rick, John, Mary, Becky are already here. There's Cindy over there. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's good to see you all. Hey, Jay, how are you? So lots going on out there right now. We've got a hurricane that is churning around in the Gulf right now that is causing some issues. As of right now, the port of Galveston is still in X-ray, which means ships can come and go. And they're expecting gale force winds within the next 48 hours. When it goes to Yankee, then ships can still leave, but they can't come in. And then, of course, when it goes to Zulu, everything shuts down. So hopefully, we're going to kind of skirt all of this. But it looks like Galveston will be impacted at some point. Christy's here. CJ's here. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. Hey, and as always, we invite you to subscribe, like, and share so that TikTok, YouTube, and everybody else knows that you like what we're doing, because we really do enjoy spending some time with you every Sunday morning and trying our very, very best to answer all of your questions. Now, we've been talking quite a bit about this over the past few days. Good morning, Barbara. We have our next group cruise is already announced, and it's going to be a Valentine's Day group cruise. Look, people, if you've been married for a while, this is definitely for you. If you're a couple, if you're friends, your family, you're a solo, come on down and try out. We've been talking a lot about it over the past couple of weeks, which is the Margaritaville Islander. Look, she is a fun ship. She really is a fun ship. And we're going to be taking, upwards of 100, maybe more, onto the ship with us, and a captain vow renewal is included. It's included. I've always wanted to do a vow renewal on a ship. Our 30th wedding anniversary is actually coming up in a couple of years, so we're hoping to go meet up with Captain Kate and have her do our 30th. But next year, we're going to have the captain of the Margaritaville Islander, Kakalaki Queen. I like that handle. How are you? Good morning. I mean, some of y'all come up with some great handles on TikTok and YouTube. I love this. But if you all would like to join us, now I cannot tell you what our rates are. I can tell you that they're ridiculously good. Our breezy balconies are so much lower than the public price right now, and the prepaid gratuities are included. So if you want to join us on the Margaritaville Islander, we're sailing February 11th through the 17th. It's going to be a 6-nighter. In fact, it's the very first 6-nighter on the Margaritaville Islander. And we've got breezy balconies, cozy interiors. We have ocean views, and then we may still have one signature suite at the group rate. We had one allocated to us, but they were down to just 2 suites on the entire ship left a couple days ago. There's only 6 of these signature suites on the ship, so it's not like there's a lot of them. Rebecca and I have actually booked a corner suite in the back of the ship because, it's going to be our wedding vow. So like, hey, we're going to go stay back there. But yeah, if you all want to come along, this is sailing from Tampa. And of course, we've got our Alaska group cruise coming up. Now, this is almost in last call at this point. Let me just get rid of that. Thank you. Almost last call on it because they will be recalling our cabins. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit because I was just taking care of some trash in the feed there. But yeah, party in our suite. You got the right idea, Barbara. Just don't tell Rebecca. Let's keep it a secret. Oh, crap. She's right there. So you never know. We might have a party in the suite. But yeah, I'll tell you what, a quarter of our cabins are already gone. It's only been on sale this week. So a quarter of our cabins are already gone. We may have to go ask for more. And then we have another fantastic agent who is also putting together a group, and we're going to bring the groups together on the ship. So there's a possibility we could have up 200 people in this thing, which could be a lot of fun. Hey, Kurt, how are you? Good morning. But on the Oceania Riviera, we're going to Alaska for 12 nights. We are kind of in the last call area right now because our group could be recalled at any time. I'll get to your question about the Mardi Gras in a second. Thank you so much for that. But June 26th through July 8th, 2025, we're going to be in Alaska for 12 nights. 12 nights, and we have, I think, up to 13-hour port calls. So we're going to have a lot of time in port. This is going to be on the Oceania Riviera. This is a nearly all-inclusive cruise. So Oceania includes all meals, Wi-Fi, soft drinks, specialty coffees, up to $600 inshore excursion credit, beer, wine, champagne with lunch and dinner. And with the group, if you book, we have 2 veranda categories left. If you book one of those veranda categories, you will get prepaid gratuity plus the prestige drink package upgrade. It's up to about a $2,200 savings overall over the public prices right now. So if you'd like to go to Alaska next year and come with us for 12 nights, we are kind of on, I'm expecting sometime within the next 2 months, we're going to lose our group cabin. So do not delay if you want to come to Alaska with us. It's going to be amazing. So, and now I've got a question over here. The best deck level for a balcony on the Mardi Gras. So for me, I like to get higher. Obviously, you don't want the deck that's right below the pool deck. You know, that's like a good rule of thumb. So wherever the pool deck is, have at least 1 row of cabins between you up there. Then also keep in mind that I believe it's the starboard side of the ship that has the smoking area down on deck 8 or 7. I can't remember. Whatever the main promenade deck is.
It's right kind of outside where the
Yeah, but what deck is it? That's what I'm trying to remember. It's whatever the promenade deck is. There is a smoking area on the starboard side. In fact, I can't remember if it's on both sides, but certainly.
No, it's just one side.
Yeah, so it's on the starboard side. So if the smoke bothers you, you don't want to be too low. So generally, come down one deck from the Lido, and then I would pick one of those 2 or 3 decks right up there. I like to be higher. I like to see. I like a nice view up there. Keep in mind that the higher you go, the more you will feel the motion of the ocean. But I like to be higher. And I will tell you, I think the best standard balconies on the Mardi Gras or the Celebration or the Jubilee, the extended balconies are absolutely amazing. They are above the atrium, you know, with that big half circle. And they made the balconies that extend way out. And if you get the ones right in the middle of there, you get the longest balconies. Oh, those are beautiful. So that's where I would stay. That's what we had. We were on deck 12, I think it was, when we were on that ship. I like being higher. I like being up much, much higher on the ship. So that's for me. Now, again, if you are a little concerned about the motion of the ocean, get yourself down just a little bit lower. So, Trucker USA, well, I was answering a question specifically about the Carnival Mardi Gras, but that's true really of any ship at all. Like on Virgin Voyages, I think decks 11 through 13 are like the sweet spot, or 10 through 12 is like the sweet spot. So for me, I like to come at least, you know, you get 1 deck down below the pool deck, and then, you know, somewhere depending on the size of the ship, you know, a little bit higher, lower. Now on our group cruise that we're going on with the Margaritaville Islander, we're actually on deck 6, which is kind of low, but that's okay. We're right on the aft. We're going to be out there by the wake, so I can't wait. You know, I'd love my favorite. If you're asking me what my favorite cabin is on a ship, it's typically the aft. I like to be on the aft. I like to be looking out over the wake. That's where I really like to be. But in terms of just general for a ship, and you're asking about a balcony, I like to be higher. I like to be a little bit higher. Yeah. Trucker says middle, up a couple. Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of my rule of thumb. You want other cabins above and below you.
Always.
And I kind of like to be somewhere between where all the top deck stuff is and where all the main stuff is. So somewhere in, middle-ish. Especially
if, you know, it's kind of nice to be kind of like that middle-ish too, because then, you know, you can, especially I like to walk. As much as I can. I try to walk the stairs versus the elevator because, you know, you're eating, right? You're eating on a cruise. And so it's kind of nice if you just have to like walk down, say 4 flights of stairs, or go up 4 flights of stairs, and it's not too bad. Yeah, see, Trucker gets it. Totally gets it right there. Yeah, you want to kind of stay in the middle. John, hey, Norma, how are you? Kurt, if I didn't say good morning, everybody. I try to say hello to everybody. I apologize if I miss you. John is asking, do we have a final number for the Sun Princess? So we have a Sun Princess group cruise, which we're not talking about, there are still spaces on the, there are still spaces left on the Sun Princess. We're sailing October 19th through the 26th. The group is now closed. We can't add any more to the group. There are still some cabins available. John, I want to say we're around 39. Is that where we're at?
I thought it was like 35.
35. Somewhere between 35 and 40 is where we're sitting right now, John. We could always add a few. Now, if you do book with us and you come on the Sun Princess, obviously you're going to come in and hang out with us and do, you can come and hang out with the whole group. But right now, I'd say we got between 35 and 30 and 40 coming up with us on the Sun Princess. So it'd be a nice little group of people. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good morning, Mindy. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, there's a good comment. So here's a good question for everybody. Trucker likes eating breakfast in the formal or the main dining room. Now, how about you guys for breakfast? Do you prefer the dining room where it is kind of nice? You get to sit there, you get to relax, you're not fighting other people, they're serving you. Or do you prefer the grab and go of the buffet? What is your breakfast of choice on a cruise ship? Rebecca?
Well, breakfast is kind of my least favorite meal of the day. So honestly, I don't know. I like to eat non-traditional American breakfast food. So I kind of like some of the buffets, not all of them. Some of them have like Indian and Asian food for breakfast. That is my jam.
Yeah. I am more of a buffet person, but from time to time we do actually go down to the main dining room, especially on a sea day. On a sea day, like if you're right prime time breakfast, it's a little nutty in the buffet. So it is very nice just to sit, relax, let somebody else just go get everything for you. And it's interesting. Some of the cruise lines kind of have a combination, like a small buffet in the main dining room, so you can go grab stuff from there, or you can get stuff from the menu as well.
Our other favorite breakfast thing is on celebrity ships, where they have the spa cafe in the solarium.
They do
area. And that's just a lovely little light, snacky sort of breakfast.
Yeah, it's really nice. So if you go on a celebrity ship, they have the solarium pool, which is the indoor pool. And in there, they have the spa cafe. And, most of us tend to eat just a little bit too much at dinner at night because it's so good. And it's lovely because they have like all these small little things that you can just sort of nosh on.
And it tends towards the healthier side.
Yeah. And then since you brought up celebrity, I will say my absolute favorite breakfast thing is if you go to the buffet on Celebrity, they'll have a British breakfast section with fried toast. I don't know why the Brits fry their toast, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll get the fried toast. I'll get some eggs, get some sausage. Oh my God, I am so happy. That's like my favorite breakfast at sea. And then my absolute guilty pleasure is the French toast burger on Virgin Voyages. You can only have one during a cruise because it will kill you.
I can only have 0.
Art Thomas, good morning. Thank you so much for the kind words. Eric prefers breakfast in the buffet for the omelet station. Oh my goodness, you are absolutely right. And I got to tell you, the best omelets I've had in a while, no lie, the Margaritaville Islander at Frank and Lola's Pizzeria. They turn it into an omelet station in the morning. They were so good. I mean, really, really good. So I'm with you on that. John likes the buffet for port days and the dining room for sea days. Oh, that's a nice mix. Yeah, because on a sea day, you got nowhere to go. You're not leaving the ship. So why not relax? Becky loved coffee and breakfast at the International Cafe on Princess. Nice. And since you bring up that too, the Park Cafe on an Oasis class ship on Royal Caribbean is absolutely lovely in the morning as well. I'm loving this. I love it. Trucker goes good. Oh, so the fried toast goes with the pork and beans. See, I can't do the pork and beans in the morning, but I do love, I'm telling you, I love that fried toast. And thankfully, Celebrity's the only one that makes it, because if everybody made it, I would be in such trouble on a cruise ship. I really would. Twin Mom, hey, good morning. You are on the NCL Pride of America Thanksgiving 2025. If we've been a favorite excursion, so many to choose from. So we have not been. However, and I want to say I do have a link. You're watching me on TikTok. I want to say if you go to my logo and go to my link tree, Sean and Stef channel. Stephanie went there. We sent her there last year on a really cool cruise. She was on the Norwegian Spirit. which was 7 days around Alaska, or 6 days around, 6 or 7 days around Hawaii. Then the ship went to Alaska and did a full Alaska run too. It's like the most amazing itinerary. But she did a lot of excursions. I think she spent a day or two in Honolulu before the cruise. So Sean and Stef, SEAN, Sean and Stef channel. I want to say I do have a link to them. I know if you're watching on YouTube, I believe I've got a link to the Sean and Stef channel on YouTube. But on the TikTok side, if you go to my logo, go to the link tree. I want to say there's a link to the Sean and Stef. Look for her Norwegian Spirit series of blogs and look at her Hawaii. She is amazing, and we are very proud to be a travel partner. In fact, we just had dinner with Stef last night. Oh, my God, she's amazing. She's amazing, and she has so many things going on. And if you're coming to Walt Disney World anytime soon, you most likely will see her work around the park. So it's absolutely incredible. Norma, another vote for the omelet station. She likes the omelet station on Carnival for breakfast. I am liking that. Another vote, Rick is loving the omelet stations on the ships. Very nice. Love it. Love it.
Am I the only weirdo doing the Indian and Asian food?
Anybody else like Indian or Asian for breakfast? That'll be interesting.
And I had some really good Indian on the Sky Princess.
Oh, yeah.
For breakfast.
Wonder how it's going to be on the Sun.
I don't know.
To see. Twin Mom, good. I'm glad you got it. Check out Sean and Stef, and anybody else watching, make sure you subscribe to Sean and Stef. What a great channel. So many ships, so many great blogs on there. Truckers doing Alaska in June 2025 on Celebrity. Hey, we might see you there. You never know. We're going to be on the Oceana Riviera. Never know. We might cross paths. We'll be there June 26th through July 8th. Cannot wait. There you go. Lady K likes Indian for breakfast.
Yay! I'm not the only one.
One vote. Alex, you got our email. Thank you. Love it. Well, hey, man, let's set up a time to talk. So Alex wanted to find some really interesting repositioning cruises. And so we just kind of went out there and had a little fun and good. Yeah, let's set up a time to chat. I think there's some really good ones in there, a lot of fun ones in there. Ark loves the diner in the Galleon version. Best hash browns ever. I'm going to say I haven't had them. We've been on the ship 4 times. I always get the sweet potato tater tot, but I might have to do, if Ark is saying that the hash browns are on point, then I'm going to have to try those hash browns. Brenda likes the Royal Caribbean buffet for breakfast. I'm telling you, man, good buffets out there. You know, the buffet at breakfast is repetitive, obviously, because how much can you do? Like the Indian, they will change it out.
Yeah.
From time to time. But
not every ship has it.
Yeah. So, but, you know, when they do it right, like everybody's been pointing out the omelet station. Man, the omelet station on most ships is on point. But I will tell you, man, if you're going on the Margaritaville Islander, come on the Margaritaville Islander with us next February and check it out for yourself. The Frank and Lola's Pizzeria. They do omelets. It's amazing how many people didn't realize that they did it because, you know, it's a pizzeria. You didn't expect it. But that's the thing on cruise ship, people. Just because it's one thing at night, it might be something else in the morning. The Mexican Cutie Cantina was doing breakfast burritos, too. Oh, my God. They were really, 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 really good. So Trucker went to Bimini, Bahamas this past summer. It was beautiful. It is beautiful. We've actually only really been with Virgin Voyages, so we don't know what it's like. Because when the other cruise lines come in, you can go to the Virgin Beach Club, and a lot of people don't realize it. I think it's just called the Resorts World Beach Club when other ships are in, but you actually have to pay for it. When you come in with Virgin, it's part of the cruise. So we've seen that. And I will say I absolutely love Key West. Oh, my God, Key West. If you're going to Key West, mark this down, the letters D and J, Dog J. Go to DJ's Clam Shack. You will thank me. You will write to me and thank. Actually, you should thank Rebecca because she found it. It is freaking amazing. And everybody who is going to Key West that had gone there to like, well, you weren't kidding. If you are a fan of fried clams, oh my God, the fried clams are amazing. And then the lobster roll is just, I mean, we did the regular lobster roll. They have a double stuffed lobster roll or whatever they call it.
Can't even imagine.
I can't imagine eating that thing. Maybe if there's like 3 of you, you get one of those and you kind of cut it up into thirds. But wow, it is so freaking good. So freaking good. So John, you did the Virgin Voyages Beach Club. Oh, hey, by the way, that reminds me, we always forget. Look, if you're watching us on TikTok, you want to ask a question about Virgin Voyages, do not use the word virgin. That's not us blocking you. That is TikTok. So if you have questions about Virgin Voyages, use the letters VV or use the name of the ship or something like that. I apologize, but there's nothing we can do about it. And it's weird because Virgin Voyages is a huge TikTok channel. So you would think, I don't know. Anyway, so you did, John did the Virgin Voyages Beach Club on Bimini with Celebrity. It's very relaxed vibe from VV, that's for sure. It's completely relaxed until the floaties come out. And then it turns into a massive beach party. I'll tell you what, that is a fun. I wish more people did floaties. You know, it's just something fun about that, the way all the floaties just come out and we're going all over the place. And it really is fun. Hey, Rick brought up something we haven't talked about. Oceans on Norwegian is always good for breakfast. So Oceans is sort of like a smaller version of TGI Fridays kind of a thing. But yeah, the Ocean pub, that's your 24-hour food on Norwegian. That is always good, especially when you got the munchies late at night. That is a great place to go. You know, I've never really looked. I wonder if they have disco fries at Ocean. Man, that would be so good at like 2 a.m.
I'm great. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Oceans.
Well, it had brown gravy on it, so you know, come on.
No, but in general, the only thing I've had there was the fish and chips.
Gotcha.
And they were not good. So
Samuel's saying they're open to all options, but they really like the Mexican cantina. I'm telling you, yeah, especially on the Margaritaville Islander. And on, who was it? Who's got a blue iguana? Carnival. Carnival. My goodness, if you're on a Carnival ship, blue iguana is fabulous for breakfast. Oh, man,
yeah, I will say good. I liked Mexican cutie cantina on Margaritaville, but blue iguana is better.
Blue iguana is better. Yeah, it definitely is better. Barbara's looking forward to Key West on the Islander. You've never been to Key West. So it is an interesting little island. I mean, you can come off the ship and you can just walk it. And the thing DJ's Clam Shack that I keep talking about, if you're going to Key West and you're going on a big ocean ship, you're going to dock just off of Duval Street. You walk up to Duval Street and just start walking. And there's only one direction to go because you're at the end of Duval Street. You just start walking, and in about, depending on the speed of your walk, in somewhere around 15-ish, maybe 20 minutes, if you're walking a little slower, DJ's Clam Shack will come up on your left, and you can walk right by it and not realize it. It's very, very small. So, yeah, it's amazing. Trucker Celebrity Eclipse has some good restaurants on it. Celebrity does have good restaurants. You've got... Let's see, you've got the, now I'm blanking on the name of that stupid little thing, the little chef, Le Petit Chef. You got that. You got Tuscan Grill. You got Murano. Murano is my favorite restaurant on a celebrity ship. We haven't had some of the newer restaurants that are on the edge class, especially like on the Beyond and Up, Beyond and Beyond. But Murano so far is my favorite restaurant on Celebrity. I think Tuscan Grill is good for lunch. I would not, Murano, actually, Trucker, that's the one I'm actually mentioning. That is the French restaurant. They have a lobster dish that is unfreaking believable. It's one of the best dishes at sea. Absolutely amazing. Yep, John agrees with me. Hey, Scott, how are you? Good morning. Controversial Cruising. I mean, I wish we'd have seen you a little bit more on the Islander. It was nice to actually, say hello. I love meeting you guys on the ship. Unfortunately, that was kind of like a crazy one where there was like so many people. The Islander cruise, the inaugural cruise, was just full of like JJ Cruise was on there. This Cruise Life was on there. Scott was on there. So many people were on that ship. It was a lot of fun. So Scott, we really do need to sail again together. Why don't you come on the group cruise in February? That would be a lot of fun. But Scott's great. Make sure you're following Controversial Cruising as well, and make sure you're following This Cruise Life too. Rocky and Mark. My goodness, we had so much fun with those guys on the Margaritaville Islander. Such great guys. Nick, you're hoping to go to Key West in March. Don't hope, just go, man. Just go to Key West. Key West is fabulous. I would like to go and spend, maybe a few days there. I really would. Jay, you're going to Nassau and perfect day at Coco Cay. Would I have any recommendations for the 2 ports? So first off, I will say we have not been to Nassau since they completed, they've completed a beautiful renovation at Nassau. And the last couple of times we were there, it was all under construction. So we didn't bother getting off the ship. I'm going to be right up front with you about that. Going back to our dear friend Stephanie, the last time she was there, she went to, there's a Margaritaville resort with a water park that you can basically walk to from the ship. because she's done Atlantis in the past as well. But she said the Margaritaville water park was absolutely fabulous. They got a day pass over there, had an absolutely great time. So I can tell you just from her recommendation, it's absolutely fabulous. And then in terms of Coco Cay, we enjoyed the Cocoa Beach Club. We did the Cocoa Beach Club one time. It was around $100 per person when we did it.
The pricing varies so much.
Yeah, it does.
Just watch it.
The big difference between it and Hideaway Beach, Hideaway Beach is an adults only area, whereas the Cocoa Beach Club, you can have kids. And if there's a lot of kids, they kind of dominate the pool a bit. But the thing I did like about the Cocoa Beach Club was, you had the padded loungers. And you didn't have to stand in line at the buffet. There was actually like a restaurant where it was a nice served restaurant. And that is kind of a nice thing. So, and keep in mind that on Coco Cay, you don't have to pay anything at all. There are plenty of loungers everywhere around the beach. So, but if I was going to spend money on anything at Coco Cay, it would probably be the Cocoa Beach Club again. I thought it was absolutely lovely. So, just floating around, the new port at Nassau is beautiful. They're saying that it reminds them of Jamaica's port. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Yeah, next time we go to Nassau, I do intend to walk off. I want to go walk off and go check out everything. Thank you so much. I love it when you guys start sharing. That's what this whole community is about. I mean, we try to give information, but I love it when everybody else chimes in. Hey, Scott, yes, we have to sail again in February. You're doing a back-to-back on the Glory. How fun is that going to be? I'm telling you, man. I am telling you. But come with us, man. Come with us. See, Trucker. Oh, hey, you did your wedding anniversary dinner at Murano. How about that? I'll tell you what, cruising is so fabulous for milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, wedding renewals, weddings. Huh?
Retirement.
Oh, it's a great way to go with retirement. What's so cool about it? Obviously, there's something for everybody on almost every ship. And plus, if you get on the right ship, you can really have it set up. We have a wedding party that's going to the Mediterranean in September. They're going to be on the Oasis of the Seas. I mean, one of the world's largest ships. And they're actually getting married in Italy. It is so freaking cool. Like, I think in Naples is where they're actually going to get married. So, cruises are just so cool for that. And one of the reasons, they picked it was because the ship has something for everybody. Literally. And of course, all the ports have something for everybody. So that is just going to be a really, really, really cool thing. Rick, you booked the Margaritaville Islander for this Friday, but based on our good experience. Well, I hope you have an amazing time. Keep an open mind. I try to be very balanced and fair with the ship, and it is a lovely ship. I love what they've done with it. The crew is just so good. I'm sure by now, they've hit their stride now. Because remember, when we got on the ship, they were literally on the ship for about a week. The bulk of the crew was only on the ship for about a week, and they did an amazing job. So have a good time. But we did not get to the JWB Steakhouse. So if you get a chance, go run up there and get to the JWB Steakhouse. I'd love to hear what you think. But have a good time, man. So remember, excellent pizzas at Frank and Lola's. The sushi at Farside, only $10 a roll, and the soba noodle salad was amazing. And what was the third thing? The Mexican food. Oh, Cheeseburger in Paradise. Oh, Cheeseburger in Paradise. I think it gives guys a run for its money. So for those of you who have had Guy's Burger, I would love to know.
The only edge guys would have is they have a variety.
They have more
different
variety.
Burgers. Whereas
but
this literally is just
a cheeseburger in Paradise, man. This is what we do. We do a cheeseburger. You get it with everything, or you just get it with some things off of it. That's pretty much it.
No veggie burger, no plain burger.
It's a cheeseburger in Paradise. And I think that was such a smart idea, because it's like, what you're going to see if you go on to Margaritaville Islander, you're going to see it's going to start lining up. But they work through that line so fast because it's one thing. It's a cheeseburger and it's fries, and that's it. So it's great. Floating around, you're doing the Virgin Voyages on New Year's. Oh, that's going to be your first time doing Key West. That must be the Fire and Sunset soiree. Have an amazing time. I love it. And John is celebrating the 16th anniversary. So John is celebrating the 16th anniversary of his 29th birthday when he goes on the MSC World America. I love that. So happy 29th, John. Happy 29th. I love that. Anybody else celebrating an anniversary of a certain birthday? Love it. Love it. Clipper Loyalty saying that a waterfall excursion tour is a good one to go on. I love that. Thank you.
I'm
so
always
much for
afraid of those because I'm such a klutz.
The Duns, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always afraid I'll like damage myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I damaged myself walking around the house.
Gotcha.
So, you know.
DJ just got off the Venezia the other day. You had a blast, but you got COVID. That does happen, unfortunately. It has not gone away. It has not gone away. We stay up with our boosters. Pretty much, in fact, I think we're probably about due for it, but we do stay up with our boosters. But even with that, you know, sometimes you can get it. So I hope you feel better soon. Did I miss somebody with MSC? Yes, I did. Clipper Loyalty. I'm sorry. You're looking forward to the waterfall tour. So you booked the MSC Seaside for December Aria Balcony, which is the spa balcony for those of you who don't know, but the MSC calls their spa Aria. And so you got Aria Balcony this time, looking forward to the waterfall and Duns River. So yeah, Rebecca would kill herself if she tried that because, you know, you got the slippery surfaces and all that.
Yeah.
She's a klutz on smooth ground, so I would not want to put her in Duns River Falls. I don't even know that I would want to try it, but it does look amazing. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous time.
Well, I did like it when we were, gosh, I can't remember where we were in the Caribbean where I got to stand under a waterfall. But I didn't have to walk in. I was just kind of a big pool with a waterfall.
Yeah, where were we? That was...
I think that was on our Serena cruise?
Yes, it was on the Oceana Serena.
Can't remember which stop.
It was last holiday. They all run together. And by the way, if all of y'all are, saying, man, these ships are just getting so big, I want to go on a smaller ship experience, things like that. Oceana Serena and her sisters, or the Azamara ship, 650 passengers. It is a heck of an experience. Most relaxing 12 days I think I've ever spent on a cruise ship. It was so amazing. So, Nick, if you go to Key West in March, you will be a pirate looking at 45. Nice. I love it. Irene, what a great question here. What are my thoughts on the Islanders buffet? You read many mixed reviews. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. You know, you're not going to go hungry, but it's not exactly inspiring. I would put it up there with Carnival. Kind of, as the Carnival is not the most inspiring buffet for me either. Now, when we were there, we were literally there for the first 6 nights. And there were some issues with temperatures and things like that because we were literally the first ones on the ship. And until you start stressing all of the systems, they tested everything, obviously, to make sure everything could stay hot. But it wasn't running for 8 hours, 20 hours, however long it runs when passengers are actually on the ship. So once they started hammering some stuff, anything that's a weak link will pop up. But my understanding is that they've already corrected a lot of that issue. But the food itself is okay. But the pizza, oh man, you go to Frank and Lola's Pizza there in the middle of the buffet, so freaking good. It's also where the coffee shop is. So the buffet is the buffet. You're not going to be like, wow, this is the most amazing. It's not like Celebrity or Princess, Virgin Voyages. But, you're not going to go hungry either.
I always found
you're going to find
something
things that you like. What's that?
I always found something I would eat.
Yeah. Oh, and the desserts were surprisingly good. Some of the cakes were actually quite good.
The ones that were at lunchtime over by the Frank and Lola's Pizza, I really liked the cake and the filling. I did not like their frosting.
Right.
So I would just eat around that.
But if you go to Frank and Lola's Pizza, to the left of the pizzeria, there is usually a setup there. For whatever reason, those cakes were better than they had a bunch of pre-cut cakes elsewhere, but those were really, really good. So it's not the most exciting thing, but right outside the buffet, you've got Cheeseburger in Paradise, which is great, and you got the Mexican Cutie Cantina. Both of those are included in the cruise fare, so you can always get something out there as well. So yeah. Dale just booked your first cruise. Yes, welcome to the cruise family. You are now one of us, or once you get on the ship, you will be one of us. There is no going back. Once you get on a ship, you will be hooked. I've told this story before, but on my very first cruise, I did not want to go. Rebecca basically dragged me kicking and screaming, and it was a 14-day cruise. And within 2 to 3 days, we booked our next cruise. So yeah, welcome to the family, man. That's going to be exciting. Make sure you come back and tell us all about it when you get done. And if you got any questions or anything we can help you with, certainly jump in. Greg wants to know, when is Disney releasing their end of 2026 schedule? You want to see if they have December out of New Zealand at that time. They will release it when they're ready.
They only have through the end of
we don't even have 26 at all yet.
Yeah, I think
so. Probably around the first quarter of 25. No, around the end. Yeah, around the end of 25. They only release like a year in advance. So
maybe just slightly over a year, but they release usually about 3 or 4 months at a time.
Right.
So every release will have, a certain chunk of the year.
Right. Probably around the summer of next year, maybe the fall of next year. I mean, they
wait.
They wait a long time. A lot of other people are, unless, they feel some of that pressure from some of the other cruise lines that are putting out those long range schedules. But Disney will take a while. I can tell you that some of your luxury cruise lines are already up. They have some of their schedules out. I can't think of which ones immediately, but, we could take a look at like your Oceanas, your Vikings, your Exploras, people like that. They tend to push much further out with their schedule. But Disney stays very close to the vest, and they do just release very small blocks at a time.
And they, unlike a lot of other cruise lines, they pretty much release, when they release, they do their 3 or 4 months that they're releasing,
right?
Regardless of where they're going,
right?
Whereas most cruise lines, you might get Europe, and then you might get the Caribbean, Alaska. So they might
all of that
do those at different times,
right? Rafi. How you doing, Rafi? Good to see you, man. We'll be talking in a couple hours. So, Rafi, we are planning a beautiful anniversary trip for these guys. Oh, my goodness. It is so much fun. Good to see you, man. Just floating around. You did the zip line at Dunn's. You were going to do the climb, but figured you'd fall. I'm telling you, if you're going to Dunn's River Falls, man, make sure your knees are in good shape. Make sure you got good balance, because you will be arm in arm walking with other people.
And make sure you have travel insurance that'll cover your medical.
Somebody just asked about travel insurance. I love it. Lucky said that was you on your first cruise, kicking and screaming. Now you can't get me off the cruise. I'm telling you now, a 7-day cruise is way too short. A 10-day cruise feels short. 14 days feels about right. Longer than that would be even nicer. John, I love it when people tell me they booked their first cruise. I tell them the same time each time, prepare to live with a lot less disposable income. You were hooked before the ship left port. I'll tell you, there is something, I know one of our dear friends that we booked on the Liberty of the Seas. That was her first ship. And you do not appreciate the size of these ships until you get there. And in fact, you really don't appreciate the size of a ship until you get off of your first port, and then you're actually able to stand down there on deck 2 and look up. You're like, oh my God. But you do not, for those of you who have yet to take your first cruise, even the small ships will surprise you at just how big. I know there's some people who talk about, well, I might be claustrophobic on it. There's not going to be enough to do. It's not, if you're okay hanging out in a Las Vegas resort or a nice family resort for a week, take that, put it on the water, and that's what you've got. So yeah, it is absolutely amazing, and we love helping people plan their first cruise, because getting on the right first ship is so important to make sure. If we have talked to some people like, yeah, we tried cruising, but it wasn't exactly. And I was like, well, what ship did you go on? What did you expect? And when they tell me the ship they went on and then what their expectations were, it's like, well, you definitely didn't go on the right ship. So, make sure that you go on the right first ship. And we were lucky. We went on the Caribbean Princess, and it ended up being the perfect first ship for us. It was so freaking much fun. I love it. Josh, where is the best place to buy travel insurance? Well, I don't know about the best place to buy it. I can't give you that information, but I can tell you a great website to research travel insurance is called Insure My Trip. If you live in the U.S., it's insuremytrip.com. If you live in Canada, it's insuremytrip.ca. That's a great place to research travel insurance. Now, the insurance partner that we use and that we sell is Allianz, Allinz, as in zebra. So that's the one that we personally use, and it is the one that we recommend. And one of the reasons why we do recommend it to our clients, or at least we share it with our clients, is because we've had 4 or 5 claims now by clients for multiple reasons, including somebody who got COVID like one day before the cruise or something like that. Like literally, we canceled last minute. The claims have been processed very quickly. And that has been impressive to me. Like, anybody can sell insurance, but what happens when you actually need it? And so far, we've been impressed with the 4 or 5 claims that our clients have had to do. We've been doing this almost 2 years now. And, we've had 4 or 5 claims. And Allianz has handled them very, very well. But if you want to do a research, insuremytrip.com, or if you live in Canada.ca. Well, that's a great place to do some research on travel insurance. But everybody should have travel insurance. We never travel without it. We do have some clients who opt not to do it, and we have had some clients that look last minute. Whoops, we need to make a change, or we got injured or something, and it's I feel horrible, but there's literally nothing I can do at that point if you don't have travel insurance. Yes, I will call the cruise line. Yes, I will do my best to get something out of it. But for the most part, the cruise lines are going to say it's in the contract. This is what there is a cancellation schedule, and this is how it goes. And we have had some clients lose all of their money, and you feel horrible. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The travel insurance is there for a reason. Alex wants to know if there's any updates on the California Hawaii group cruise. If you're going, when? The plan right now was February or March, the one you're looking at?
I think it was February I was looking at.
So we are planning a group cruise that will go from Los Angeles to Hawaii. It'll be a round trip. And we're going to tack on, and if you want to join us, you can. We're going to tack on a Disneyland resort stay as well.
May start with Disneyland.
I don't know if we start with it or end with it, because, it's going to be like 4 days of sea, just relaxing. Then maybe we go have some fun. I don't know. But right now it's looking like February 2026 into March, probably, because it's going to be like 20 days total.
No, it's, I guess total.
The whole thing. But what is it, 13 days for the cruise?
16, I think.
16 days for the cruise. So we're planning a group cruise in 2026. If you've always wanted to do that Los Angeles to Hawaii loop, it'll be in February, March of 2026. We were seriously looking at Viking, but Viking doesn't look like they're going to do it in 2026, at least not in the beginning of the year. So
yeah, they may do it in the winter, like December, November.
So we're leaning toward Princess right now. Princess for that one. What is it? The Emerald Princess?
Emerald Princess.
Yeah. So the Emerald Princess, which is a Crown class ship. We've been on the Crown Princess, loved it. We've had quite a few guests go on the Emerald Princess, and they have enjoyed it. So it's looking like it might be the Emerald Princess. February 2026 will be the California to Hawaii loop. We will have more information as soon as we book it, but it is available for booking now. So we may go ahead and, obviously we want to set up that group sooner than later so we can get the best rates and all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's just a matter of figuring out how to make everything work with all the other stuff we're doing.
Yes. Too many cruises. That's a problem. Eric said he took his first cruise last year, and now he booked through 2025. Yes, he is. We're having a great time. And you have Allianz. Now, one of the things too, with travel insurance, if you're taking, say, 3 or more vacations a year, you could start looking at annual policies. And the thing about an annual policy, it covers, at least with Allianz, it covers all travel as long as you go 100 miles away from your house. So it can be a road trip. It can be, just something that you're flying on. It doesn't have to be a cruise. It is just a travel insurance policy for the entire year. And you do spend less than getting, say, three or 4 individual policies, depending on how much, you're getting for the year. But if you are starting to take, and again, doesn't have to be a big trip, doesn't have to be a cruise. It could just be something, hey, we're driving to the beach for the weekend, or we're going to fly to this resort for a week or something like that. All of that can be protected by travel insurance too. So if you're starting to do multiple trips over the course of a year, you can look at just doing an annual policy versus just getting the insurance policy only for your cruise, or only for this land trip, or only for this other thing. So you're welcome, Alex. Yeah, let's get together and talk about your repositioning too. That'll be fun. Yeah, thank you, Rafi. Yeah, so it is interesting how the insurance policies work. And look, I am not an insurance expert by any means. I can share information with you guys. But when it comes down to the actual policy, you need to read that policy and make sure you understand everything that's included and what's not included, because not everything's included. And then when you have questions, call the insurance company. They're the ones that can answer the questions. I've had a couple clients reach out to me after getting the policy and say, hey, I have questions about this. I can't answer them. You've got to call the insurance company.
Well, you do know the page where all the reasons
I
you can
do
cancel.
know that on Allianz, starting on page 8 of their big disclosure, are the 27 reasons why you can cancel and get a 100% refund. That I know. That I can tell you. I can point you to that page, but that's about all I can do. But that's a good point about insurance companies and these policies. If you're going to cancel your trip and make a claim, there are specific reasons in that policy why you can cancel, unless you bought one that is cancel for any reason, cancel anytime. Those are the most expensive policies. They do exist, but most people will buy a policy that will cover you for most of the common reasons. But that doesn't mean that if you fall outside of that, you can't file a claim. You can still file a claim. It's just going to be on a one-to-one basis what they're going to do, if anything, for that. So, John, yearly policies need to be purchased 2 months before travel, I think. So the ones that we sell with Allianz Global do need to be purchased within 60 days of the first leg of travel, like whenever you're going to be traveling. That's Allianz policy. I don't know how everybody else works, but yeah, within 2 months. Now, some people will just say, well, yeah, actually, I'm going on a road trip next week, so let's just go ahead and start the policy now. Why not? It's going to cover it, right? Just floating around. This is an interesting one. They're excited about Virgin Voyages going to Alaska in summer 2026. There's something I never thought we'd be talking about. Virgin Voyages in Alaska, and especially, look, I would have been all over it that Virgin, since they're going to the West Coast, would go to Alaska. You know, maybe 2 or 3 itineraries, but an entire season? It sounds like they're going to be there from May to September. We don't know exactly. We know they're going to be there in May 2026. We don't know how long the season's going to run. We expect that there will be 7 to 10 day itineraries coming from Virgin Voyages. And it's going to be very interesting. Now, the one thing about Alaska is that it is starting to get crowded up there. At one point, I know there were over 60 ships doing Alaska. Now there are 320 cruise ships that are part of the Cruise Line International Association, CLIA. So 60 of them were in Alaska. So that's like what, a quarter of all the cruise ships are in Alaska for the season or something like that. So some of the ports are starting to push back and saying, look, we're going to limit the amount of people that can come in. And now you've got yet another ship coming in. So it's going to be very interesting to see what their ports are going to be and how long they're going to be able to stay in port. There are some ports in Alaska where they do a hot swap, where somebody comes in like 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. They leave, and then another ship comes in like 2:30 to 8:30 in the evening, something like that. So it's going to be very interesting, one, to see what they do. Two, what's Scarlet Night going to look like in Alaska? I mean, that should be hilarious, especially if it's like in the 30s at night or in the 40s at night. What is Scarlet Night going to look like? I don't know. It could be very interesting. And then what's going to happen? I have actually reached out and said, are you going to do the Hawaii solo? Or excuse me, the Hawaii loop? Somebody said solo here. I'm so sorry. I'll get to your question in a second. But are you going to do the Hawaii run? Because it just seems natural. And we don't know. Like after Alaska, it'll probably come back to LA and do some Mexican Rivieras, but will it do at least one Hawaii loop? I think Virgin would be fabulous to do the Hawaii loop. But Alaska, I don't know. People are like, hey, are you going to go to Alaska? I don't know. We're big fans of Princess, Holland, and Oceania in Alaska. We think they do amazing jobs as a celebrity as well. But Princess is always going to be, our first lean in to Alaska because they do an amazing job up there. Speaking of which, we understand that the Denali Lodge is open now. I think Holland has reopened theirs, but if you are going to Denali this month or next month on Princess, just stay in touch. Certainly by next month, everything should be back to normal. But stay in touch with Princess and your travel agent if you're going to Denali with Princess or Holland America and find out what's going on. Because I think as of today, the park may or may not be open yet, even though the lodges are. So, yeah. Nurse Tara wants Virgin to do regular voyages out of New York City. That could come in 26, 27. So after Alaska, like she'll be up there till say September-ish. She'll probably come back down to LA, do some runs there. It'll go through the Panama Canal. It might stop in Miami, or it might just go all the way back up to New York at that point. So I expect the Brilliant Lady will home port back in New York after after the Alaska season at some point. It might do like the winter season in New York and then run people down to the Bahamas. I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting. Laura in San Diego, cruise lines, Italy, Greece area that have solo rate and not have to pay double. That's extremely rare to find that. Because most people, even Norwegian, which has the solo cabin, it's still not half the price. So it all depends on who you're going with. I don't know how Celestial, off the top of my head, I can't think of how Celestial handles it, but Celestial is a family-run cruise line in Greece. Only 2 ships right now. I think they might be adding a third at some point. But if I recall, they might have good solo rates. But it depends on what you want to do and when you want to do it, because Azamara, Oceania, sometimes you can get some good rates there. Princess sometimes surprises us. Princess typically doesn't charge the full double. It might be like 75% of it. Norwegian, if I can get you into a solo cabin, it won't be double. But it's extremely rare to not get that. You're going to get a supplement. It's just how high will it be? It also depends on when you want to go. So this is where, like, working with a travel advisor like ourselves, we do all that legwork for you. We figure out the time frame you want to go, what ports do you want to hit, how big of a ship do you want, and then we go find, the solo pricing, and then we come back to you and say, here are your best option. So that can change even over the time of the season. Like early in the season, later in the season, you might be able to find better deals. If you go in the heart of the season when everybody's going, you're going to be paying the highest rate. But if you can go, say, in April or October, the very beginning and very end of the season, you can probably find deals because they want to get people in the cabins. So, so that's the best I can tell you. I can tell you that if you want to go river cruising now, they do a lot of honest to goodness solo deals. In fact, Riviera Cruise Line has multiple cruises that are solo only. Like it's all singles on the cruise, which is actually a lot of fun. So, good morning, Chuck and Mary. How are you? Good to see you. Now, Nurse Tara was talking about New York, and user 137 wants more ship to go out of Boston. That I don't know what holds people back from Boston. I mean, really, it's a Canadian New England run. I don't know how much further it is from Boston on the ocean to get down to the Bahamas, but that's part of it too.
It would be Bermuda, most likely.
Yeah, or Bermuda. I mean, it's fuel. They don't want to. They're trying to burn as little fuel as they can. So New York is a closer run to get down to Bermuda. That's the big reason. Boston is a good staging area for Canada, New England, but unfortunately, they could do transatlantics too from Boston. That would be kind of cool. They do
a few.
Do they do a few?
Yeah, awesome. It's may also just be the infrastructure of the port there that limits the number of ships that can go out of there.
Yeah, but I agree with you. That would be kind of cool to have more ships going out of Boston. But I know for one thing, it would be the fuel. Peggy wants to know, have we done a Panama Canal cruise? Actually, we did on the Island Princess. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely.
It was a partial.
It was a partial, which means that we came out of Florida. And so we came out of Florida. We went through the Gatun Lake, the Gatun Locks, which is the first lock, and then Gatun Lake, which is, I believe, the largest man-made lake in the world. And the ship turned around there and went back out. But we actually got off the ship while we were on, I guess it was a tender kind of a thing, or maybe the boat picked us up at the ship.
I think it was a tender
that took us to the thing. So we took a tender from the ship while we were in Gatun Lake. And I'm telling you, if you're doing a partial Panama Canal, which you go into Gatun Lake, and your ship has this excursion, do it. There is a smaller boat that will take you all the way through to the Bridge of the Americas on the Pacific side. And it's about a 250 passenger boat. So you get that experience of going through the locks on the big ship, which is cool, but you're basically on a skyscraper going through the lake, or through the lock. And then go do the excursion that takes you all the way to the Pacific Ocean on a smaller boat where the walls of a lock are like 15 feet over your head when you pull in. That was a really cool excursion. So if you're not doing a full transit Panama Canal on a ship, just book that. And I think you have to book it through the cruise line. But book the excursion that will take you all the way through. It is really cool to see the locks. I think there's 3 more locks, maybe 2 or 3 more locks to get to the Pacific. That is a cool way to go through the Panama Canal. You get up early, you go through on the ship, you see what that's all about, and then you go through on the small boat. Panama Canal, I mean, everybody should try to do that at least one time. You really should. Josh saw me on the DCL Duo podcast earlier this week. You enjoyed watching. Thank you so much. I mean, Brian and Sam are awesome. Another good group of folks you should be following. Sam and Brian, DCL Duo, Disney Cruise Line. And what's really interesting about Sam and Brian, their eyes have been opening up to other cruise lines because let's face it, Disney is expensive. You know, if you want to go on Disney Cruise Line, you're going to pay whatever they're going to tell you to pay. And you are going to pay a premium amount. And they have started to question a little bit, you know, is Disney still is it still a value at the prices that you are now paying? I still think it is. It is an amazing cruise experience. But for every single Disney cruise, you know, you can take maybe 2 on another cruise line. So they're starting to look at Royal Caribbean. I'm coming back on the show. Actually, we talked about the Margaritaville Islander while I was on there. And we talked about Virgin Voyages because they're going on Virgin Voyages. And they want me to come back on when I get on the Sun Princess. So they're starting to see that, you know, locking yourself into one cruise line, even a cruise line as good as Disney, you know, maybe you should kind of expand your horizons and see what else is out there. But I love those guys. So incredibly friendly. So thankful to them for inviting me on their show. That was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do it. Cannot wait to do it again. But yeah, hopefully we're going to meet up. You know, they come to Florida quite often. Brian was here for, I think, Tiana's Bayou, but he was only here for a short time, so we didn't get a chance to hook up. But hopefully one of these times, certainly if we go do the Hawaii thing, going to try and see if I can get them to come down to Disneyland while we're there, because they would be great guides. You're welcome, Laura. Hey, by the way, you know, I haven't even mentioned it in a while, but, you know, we are travel agents. So if we can help you, our services are free. So if we can help you in any way, those of you watching on TikTok, you click my logo. There's a link tree. Contact us link right there at the top, or just go to where'swaltertravel.com. Literally, our services are 100% free. You don't pay a dime for our services. We'd be happy to help you out. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, there are links down in the description as well. So we would love to help you guys. And of course, if you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe, like, share, do all those wonderful things that TikTok, YouTube, and everybody loves. And the voice you keep hearing off camera is my lovely wife, Rebecca, who is my partner in crime in this whole thing. So, Cal, do I know if MSC has airport transfers to the port? I think so. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. I've never had anybody ask me. I'll be honest, we don't book a lot of MSC. We've gone on MSC. We've enjoyed it. I don't know offhand. Has anybody taken a MSC transfer to the port? I know pretty much everybody else does because I select them and I book them for everybody. But I don't know. I don't know offhand. Has anybody taken actually booked an MSC transfer from the airport? That's a great question. You stumped me. Sorry about that. Rick said the Panama Canal on the Caribbean Princess was great. Boy, that was our first ship. We absolutely love her. Just floating around says same for them. Their first cruise, their first 15 were on DCL, and now Virgin has been the only other line we love. If you're a big fan of Disney Cruise Line, Virgin Voyages is the closest to it. Believe it or not, if you like that style, that service, and that level of food, Virgin Voyages is going to be the closest. Another cruise line you may like is Celebrity. You might even like Princess too, but definitely Celebrity. So. Mental health worker, would you need a passport to do a Canadian cruise? If the cruise starts or ends in Canada, yes. There are some cruises that will end in Quebec, start or end in Quebec, or start or end in Montreal. If the cruise physically, like you're going to get off the ship and you're going home, or you're starting the cruise from Canada, yes, you do need a passport. If it's a closed loop cruise, is starting from Boston, starting from New York, coming back to Boston or New York at the end of the cruise, and the answer is no. You shouldn't. Now, keep in mind some cruise lines such as Oceania, they do require a passport for everybody. It doesn't matter which cruise you're going on. Oceania requires a passport to get on the ship. So, but in general, for most of the mainstream cruise lines, you would be okay without the passport. We always recommend it. So, Mom 23 boys, what are river cruises? They are cruises on the rivers. You go Europe, you go to South America, you go all over the world. Mississippi River, the Snake River Canyon, and these are boats that hold anywhere from 80 people to maybe 150, so very, very small ship on a river cruise. They're a lot of fun. Peggy wants to know, when is our next cruise? Right now, it is it's the Sun Princess, October 19th. That is right now. But we may slip something in there. Like we might run back down and see the Islander. We might run over. It's one of the beautiful things about living in Orlando. It's about an hour and 45 minutes to get over to Tampa, about an hour to get over to Port Canaveral. So we're looking at some ships like the Utopia's here now. So maybe we'll go get on the Utopia, go see what that's all about, or maybe go back and run down on the Islander now that they've had a chance to get some of their systems up and running. So, but right now it is October for the Sun Princess. Definitely the Margaritaville Islander in February. Then in May, we're on the Norwegian Aqua, which I haven't even promoted that. We haven't really talked about that. But we still have 5 cabins left on the Norwegian Aqua that are still at, again, I can't tell you what the pricing are, but the pricing is, I think, upwards of $1,000 less than what
I think it's 3 balconies and 2 interiors.
Yeah, we got 3 balconies and 2 interiors left on a Norwegian Aqua sailing May 31st. And I want to say the balconies are around $1,000 less than the public price, but I can't tell you exactly what they are because they won't let me. And then we're on the Oceania Riviera for Alaska in June. So this year is a little bit quiet. The beginning of next year is already stacking up. We might do a Thanksgiving cruise or a holiday cruise. We're looking at that as well. We really enjoyed, I'll tell you, Christmas and New Year's on the Oceania Serena was absolutely beautiful last year. So we're kind of looking at the holidays again. I like doing Thanksgiving on a ship. I really like doing Thanksgiving on a ship. Alex, hey, getting back to the MSC airport transfer. Alex said, not sure getting to the port, but definitely offer transfers to the airport on disembarkation day. You have to call them to book it. So yeah, I don't recall seeing it in the booking engine, but there might be something where I can go ahead and add that. But Alex said that the New York City transfer was about $40 to $45. So definitely at the end of the cruise, he's saying in New York, they had a transfer. So they probably have it here as well. I've just never booked it. So I honestly didn't know, but pretty much every other cruise.
Honestly, in Florida, most of the cruise ports are pretty close to the airports. So yeah. Generally, you're better off taking Uber or Lyft rather than the cruise line transfers.
Yeah, but the cruise line transfers can be cheaper.
But it's always per person. So it doesn't, if you have a bigger group, it doesn't always.
But you know, like Princess Fort Lauderdale is like $19 per person, which is not
I'm just saying it's often cheaper.
Yeah, no, it is an option, especially Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Great ones to do it. Tampa, not far away. Port Canaveral, if you guys are coming to Port Canaveral, you're going to be flying into Orlando. I recommend a company called Cocoa Beach Shuttle. Really, really nice company. Great folks, super friendly. And they will pick you up from pretty much any hotel in the Orlando area, take you to the port, or they will pick you up from the airport in Orlando and take you to pretty much any hotel over in Cocoa Beach as well. And then I think it's $7 per person to pick you up from a Cocoa Beach hotel to bring you to the ship itself. So Cocoa Beach Shuttle, great shuttle company for the Cocoa Beach area. Cruising Kimberly, hey, good morning. You recently went on the MSC Seascape, their newest ship. It was an amazing cruise and much improved from last year. Well, the newest C-class ship. And so it was much improved over last year. That is fantastic. Good to hear.
The question is, did you do Robotron?
Oh, yeah, Kimberly, did you do Robotron after a big breakfast in the buffet? That's what I want to know. I would avoid the splash zone underneath it at all costs. I totally would. Kel, we booked for you. You highly recommend. 2 thumbs up from Kel for booking with Where's Walter Travel. Thank you. I'm assuming it's 2. It might have only been 1, but I'm adding the other one too. So 2 thumbs up from Kel for booking with Where's Walter Travel. See, if Kel says that we're good, we must be good. You can trust Kel70 to tell the truth about our booking. Thank you. Thank you, Kel. We really, really appreciate that. We really do. Hey, controversial cruising. Scott said, more bright lines. So if you are coming to Florida, we have this thing called the Bright Line now that connects Orlando to South Florida. In the near future, I don't know what near future means, but whenever they build it, they're talking about building a station at Port Canaveral, because right now the train actually goes straight to Port Canaveral from Orlando, and then it turns and goes south to take you to South Florida. So right now it connects Orlando all the way to Miami. Super easy. That's what we do now to go to Fort Lauderdale and Miami, take the train. And they're going to add a stop at Port Canaveral. So if they add it at the Bend, it'll be like a 10-minute little shuttle ride to get to the port. But also the Brightline train, they have announced Tampa as well. So that's going to be fabulous. We'll be able to go to the Orlando airport and go straight on over. So yes, I'm with you. More Brightline. Brightline is absolutely amazing. Just floating around, did Disney Cruise Line for Christmas right after they had started sailing again for COVID. Was their favorite cruise ever. Holiday cruising is the best, and definitely cruising on Disney at the holidays for the very merry time. Folks, if you're going to take a Disney cruise, I mean, Halloween, very merry time. Oh my God, over the top. Disney to the next level. It is so much freaking fun. And Very Merry Time now has wonderful work by our dear friend Stephanie. So if you're on the Very Merry Time cruises and you're up there by the pool with that whole big show they do, the big Christmas show, you're seeing a lot of Stephanie's work on the video screens in the background. She is amazing. So Joan, good morning. How are you? Oh my gosh, a high school classmate. How about that? Good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping in. Hey, Eric, how are you, man? Giving me 2 thumbs up as well. Thank you, Eric. I love that. Controversial Cruising says they need to build a train from Arizona to Florida. I love that idea. They are working on the Los Angeles to Las Vegas route, which is going to be really cool. Philip, can we use the Carnival casino offers on Princess? No. Princess has their own casino offers. So Carnival Cruise Line keeps all of their, I mean, they own, who knows how many, 10, 12 cruise lines. Each one of them is an independently operating cruise line. Royal Caribbean recently announced that you can take your loyalty and get matched up on Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Silver Sea. But Carnival, right now, everything operates as its own company. So, yeah. Fun in the Sun. How about Alaska Cruise? Do you need a passport to sail out of Seattle and come back to Seattle? Not on most cruise lines. However, as I just mentioned, if it's a closed loop cruise out of Seattle on most cruise lines, the answer is no. You will need a government issued photo ID and an original birth certificate. But like our group cruise that is sailing out of Seattle, which is on the Oceania Riviera, Oceania, the cruise line, requires a passport to get on the ship. So if you're going on a more luxury cruise line or a smaller cruise line, double check to see what the rules are. But for the most part, your mainstream cruise lines, no, you will not need the passport to do that closed loop. So which cruise line sail out of Port Canaveral? More and more these days. So let's see if I can remember this right now. We've got MSC, Norwegian, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Disney, Celebrity, Princess.
They do limited sailings.
But that's 7.
And then there is the Marella, but nobody from the U.S. can book that.
Morella's there, but you can't book it. So those are the 7 that I know of so far. Port Canaveral is now the busiest cruise port in the United States in terms of passenger traffic. And the reason is because they do so many 3-4 cruises, like 3-night and 4-night cruises. So whereas Miami might be the quote unquote busiest cruise port in the world, they have many more 7 and longer cruises. Whereas Port Canaveral is kind of like the king of the 3 and 4 night. So in 1 week, a ship is turning around twice instead of once. So they've got a lot of people coming on those cruises. Justin, hey, how are you? Thanks for joining in. They were on board the Islander the 28th through the 2nd. Can't say more wonderful things about our experience. The signature island package is a super value. Don't miss the Tiki Grill and the Island Eats. Justin, thank you so much for popping in. And I will say the Islander has more packages than any cruise ship I think I've ever seen. I think they need to cut them back a little bit, but that is so awesome. Thanks so much for popping in on that. You know, the Tiki Grill and the Island Eats, we actually did not try either one of those on there, but the Tiki Grill is kind of like a little hidden breakfast spot back there that a lot of people don't know about. So when the buffet is crowded, if you go back to the Tiki Grill, and that is not a charge in the morning for the breakfast, but Island Eats and the Tiki Grill, which we didn't talk about that much on the Margaritaville Islander, very back of the ship, that is the adults only area. They do have a breakfast buffet back there that is included in your cruise fare, very quiet. And then they also have upcharge items during the lunch and dinner-ish, more like the lunch hours. up there. You got lobster rolls, you got crab, you've got grilled meat and things like that. So Justin, thank you so much. And of course, that leads right in again. Our Valentine's group cruise is already 1/4 sold out. We've only had it open for a week. People are excited about this. I cannot tell you what our rates are. We we got a stupid good deal. We have a stupid good deal. Frank is amazing. Frank is, I don't remember what Frank's title is, his official title, but he's like the head of the sales department over there. Joanne is our representative over there. Greg is the head of the groups department. Yuli is working with us in the groups department. They have a really fun team. Look, they're still figuring things out, okay? Our booking engine is still broken for the travel agents. I still can't actually book you on the ship. I have to call my counterpart at our specific number, call them, get you guys booked on there. But we're so excited about where this company is going. They're already looking at a third ship. I don't think I'm permitted to tell you how many ships they told me while we were on the ship, but the executives are talking about a fleet. There will be a fleet of Margaritaville ships running around at some point. Keep in mind the Islander and probably any other ships that they buy, they can go through the Panama Canal. So will you see Panama Canal cruises? It would not surprise me. Will you see them go to the West Coast? Would not surprise me. Will they go to Alaska? I don't know. I didn't think Virgin was ever going to go to Alaska, but here we are. They're going to Alaska. So Margaritaville at Sea, we're going to be on her, the Islander, from February 11th to the 17th, 2025. I have breezy balconies, ocean views, and I have cozy interiors at a ridiculous rate. That includes the prepaid gratuities. If you are a married couple coming on the cruise, we are going to have a captain's vow renewal included.
Or just a couple.
Or just a couple, but it's going to be a vow renewal.
Well, yeah, but you could play along.
That's true. That's true. You know, we know people who have just been together for, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They're never getting married. So you can just renew the vows to each other, your commitment to each other. But you can be solos. You can be couples. You can be families. This is a family-friendly ship. So if you want to come along for double occupancy only, we have ridiculous group rate that do include the prepaid gratuity. So if you want to come along, reach out. where'swaltertravel.com. We can't. Rebecca's like, I hope they can't see me. I hope they can't see me. She was like right there, but you couldn't see her because she was right off camera. She just snuck out. Yeah. So come with us on the Islander. It would be so much fun. Joan, great question. How many days do I suggest for your first cruise? No less than 21 days. You should stay on a ship for 21 days. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I think a 7-night cruise is the best first night cruise. That's a great question, Joan. And the reason why I say a 7-night, if you go on a 3 or a 4-night cruise, number one, it's just so you're just starting to get the feel of what a cruise is like, and you're getting off the ship. But number two, 3 and 4-night cruises tend to be party cruises. Doesn't matter the cruise line. It can be Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Margaritaville. It can be anybody. But there is a subset of people on the 3 and 4-night cruises that it is a Las Vegas weekend. I am here for just a couple of nights. I've got the drink package. I'm going to get everything I can. And it kind of turns more into a party vibe. A 7-night cruise, people are more relaxed. Yes, there's partying going on at night and whatnot, but they know that they got 7 nights. It's not like I have to rush to do everything. And 7 nights gives you a chance usually to do at least 3 ports. So you get an opportunity to really go out and see some ports. So I think at a minimum should be 7 days. Our first one was 14 days. No lie. We had a 7-night Eastern, 7-night Western back to back. But if you really want to have a good first cruise and really see what cruising is all about, I do encourage you to go 7 nights. And I do encourage you, whether it's us or somebody else, work with a travel advisor so you get on that right ship for the 7 nights. So, yeah. Barbara Kempton, what is the itinerary on the Aqua? Great question. So we have a group cruise going out on the brand spanking new Norwegian Aqua, May 31st through June 7th. It's in Eastern Caribbean. I know we're going to their island, which is Great Stirrup Key. Rebecca, where else are we going? We're going to the Eastern Caribbean. I don't know.
I want to say Tortola.
Let's see. Where's Walter Travel? Let's go to this really cool website called Where's Walter Travel and look at the itinerary on the site. We are going to... by the way, it's round trip Port Canaveral. We're going to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, Tortola, and Great Stirrup Key. So 4 great port stops We have literally just 5 cabins left in our group, and I want to say our balconies are around $1,000 less than the price public. Again, we can't give you the exact price over the air, but we have a really ridiculous rate on the Norwegian Aqua, which I don't have a graphic for my friends on YouTube, but I do have this really cool one from Hurtigruten as well. Let's see. So when is that? Oh, yeah. So Philip Jew, when is that NCL cruise? So it is May 31st, 2025 through June 7th, and it sails out of Port Canaveral. Cruising Kimberly. Yeah, so once again, if you want that information concisely, it is the Norwegian Aqua, the brand new. This is going to be the latest of the Prima class. They have added the Aqua slide coaster, so the racetrack is gone. Aqua slide coaster has taken its place. If you've seen the Aqua Mouse on Disney, this is like a amped up version of that. So that's what's going to be on the top. So the Norwegian Aqua, brand spanking new ship, coming out, I believe, in March, April of, I think April of, or maybe April, May of 2025. We are going to be on her May 31st through June 7th. It is a 7-night itinerary. We're sailing from Port Canaveral. We go to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, Tortola, and Great Stirrup Key. We have, I believe, 3 balconies left and 2 interiors. And I think our balconies are around $1,000 less than the public pricing. So it's absolutely amazing. So Joanne, thank you so much. Joanne shares our site all the time, all over Facebook. It's just so lovely. Thank you so much, Nurse Tara. I'll get there in a second. Kimberly Cruising Kimberly, you were disappointed on the Norwegian breakaway due to poor entertainment. You know, I hear you on that because Norwegian had dropped a lot of their Broadway shows. Norwegian had a lot of great Broadway shows, and I guess maybe they got too expensive. You know, it's not cheap to license a Broadway show. So they dropped a lot of the Broadway shows, and they really didn't have anything lined up to take its place. You know, Royal Caribbean, they have Broadway shows, but then they have tremendous original shows. I mean, Royal Caribbean spends a lot of money on these original shows. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out now that Nick Weir is gone and they've got a new person who's stepping in. But Norwegian really didn't have anything like to take the place. One thing to get rid of the Broadway show, but then have like a good show to take its place, and they really haven't done that.
In theory, it will be coming, but
yeah,
who knows when.
Yeah, so it's like if you're going to drop those shows, you got to have something ready. So Nurse Tara, which beach club in Cozumel would I recommend, Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach? We haven't done either. I don't know. We have done a chocolate making class, and we did a salsa class there. I'm not a big beach person. Rebecca's more of the beach person.
Well, we had a beach booked. We had Nachi Kokomen, I believe is how you say it, booked, but that was when I sprained my ankle.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like trying to walk on sand was a good idea.
Has anybody, if anybody has gone to Cozumel, have you done Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach? And would you recommend one or the other to Nurse Tara? Let's throw that out to the crowd.
I don't know about Paradise Beach. When I was researching, I was down to Mr. Sancho's or the Nachi Kokomen. And the reason I did not go with Mr. Sancho's is because it seemed like it would be more family oriented and more kids, because there was more stuff for kids to do.
There you go. Rebecca does not like children. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just
wanted something more
she wanted
relaxing.
Something a little bit more relaxing, a little bit more adult. So there you go. So what? Say that again. What was it?
I don't know if I'm saying it right. Nachi Kokomen, I believe.
Nachi Kokomen or something like that in Cozumel is what she was going to do. So Kimberly did not do the Robotron. I'm very disappointed, Kimberly. I wanted to see that video. So Cruising Kimberly says they should extend the Miami train so it goes right into the cruise port tractor there, but not used. I think, I don't know why they couldn't do that, but that would cause a traffic nightmare too if the train kept coming through. So that's probably one of the reasons. But I'll tell you what, here's one of the cool things about the Bright Line. You know, we say to go, we always say to fly in a day early. And by the way, while I've got it up on the screen, if anybody has the Northern Lights on your bucket list, there's one cruise line to do it, and that's going to be Hurtigruten. If you're interested, they have an amazing Follow the Northern Lights tour where it's land and sea, 17 days on land and sea. So if Northern Lights is on your bucket list. But the thing about the Bright Line, So let's talk about the Brightline train here in Florida. We say to go to your cruise port a day early. With the Brightline train, we actually booked the train to leave Orlando, and we're going to arrive in Miami maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours before the cruise. That's way early to head to the cruise port because we're probably going to be standing outside. The actual train station is lovely. Absolutely lovely. So what we do is we get down to Miami, we get down to Fort Lauderdale a little early. We just relax at the train station. You know, they've got the bar there, they've got food there, they got nice bathrooms, it's air conditioned, and we just relax there. They got power. You can charge up your phone all day long. And then, you know, when it's time to go to the cruise port, then we just call an Uber or a Lyft. So you can even use the Brightline train as kind of an extension of that idea, fly in early if you're going to use the train, because we did break down going to the Icon of the Seas. The train broke down and we were 2 hours late getting to Miami, but that solidified my love of the train because we had to wait an hour for the next train to come. And then we stepped from one train to the other and we continued on, and overall took about 2 hours. That's okay. We had plenty of time. We got to the Icon of the Seas in plenty of time. So, Cal, you're still trying to figure out how Carnival loyalty program will transfer to MSC when we sail in February. Well, you just have to apply.
Because it's kind of a closely guarded secret as to what, and they change what they match you with every so often. But basically you won't know what you're going to get until you apply. There is a forum on Cruise Critic on the MSC forum where they talk about, you know, this is what I had on this cruise line. This is what I ended up getting matched with on MSC. But depending on when they did it, it could be different now, or they could change it like, MSC is their own animal. They do they're kind of like Virgin Voyages. They just do whatever they feel like doing. But the way I figured it when we did it, we did our Princess Platinum with, and it ended up being MSC Gold, which is the second from the top level.
That's what we got.
And the way I figured it, even if I was matched with a lower level, it was like I'd be no worse off than if I started fresh. So might as well put in for it. Whatever you have the highest level on,
just put in for it.
Put in for it.
Yeah. Barbara Kempton makes a great point. Some excursions in Alaska require a passport.
Yeah, particularly
even if
the
your
White
cruise
Pass and
doesn't.
Yukon Railroad.
That's the one. That's the primary one. The White Pass Yukon Railway. When you go to Canada on that, you must have a passport to go on the White Pass and Yukon Railway in Skagway. So Barbara brings up a great point. Even if you're going on a closed loop cruise to Alaska from Seattle, that particular excursion, you will have to have a passport because you're going to be going into Canada and they're going to make sure that you have a passport. So great point, Barbara. Thank you for reminding me of that. Kim Basakt, are there any cruise lines that are better for single passengers? Not particularly in terms of having the most cabins for solo travelers. Norwegian and Virgin really have the most cabins. Not necessarily better for single travelers because it's, well, what do you want? Because like Royal Caribbean has over 250 solo cabins. Celebrity has solo cabins. Oceania has solo cabins. Princess has a few now, finally. Holland America has some. So they are out there. All of the cruise lines do support solo travelers. It's just, what are you looking to do and what do you want to get out of your vacation? But the one that's best known is Norwegian, just because they have the studio. It's just a little 99 square foot cabin. It's a very small cabin. But then Virgin Voyages has, and Norwegian also has solo interior, ocean view, and balcony as well. But they're not solo price. They're still expensive. And
I always say, if you're traveling solo, compare the price of booking yourself into one of the official solo cabins versus booking yourself into a standard cabin as just one person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the price difference is minimal. I've even seen it, particularly on Virgin, occasionally the solo person in a standard cabin is less than the solo person in a solo cabin.
So Kimball Sock, this is where it's good to work with, whether it's me or somebody else, a travel advisor, because we go find that information for you. Because it also depends on when do you want to cruise, where do you want to cruise out of, because then we've got a specific number of ships that are available. And based on those ships, then we can figure out which going to be the best one for you, which one's going to give you the best deal for what you want to do. It's a good reminder, folks. You can reach out to me at Where's Walter Travel. Our services are 100% free. If you're watching us on TikTok, click my logo and go into that link tree. The very first link is contact us. we set up a time for a chat. If you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, there are links down in the description to get a hold of us. Again, services are 100% free to use. So that's what we do. If you're looking for the best cruise for a solo traveler, we're going to find it. Joan, another great question. On your first cruise, what type of room should you get, inside or outside? That all depends on you. We have booked clients on inside cabins, ocean views, balconies, suites. It all depends on what you're looking for and what do you want to get out of it. There is no best answer. It's the best answer for you and what you're looking for. It also depends on your budget too. You know, some people are just like, I just need the room. The reason why the insides are so popular, and they're not always the cheapest cabin. Some people are like, oh, they're the cheapest cabin. Not always. Sometimes the balconies are cheaper than the inside, especially because there are much fewer insides. So as the insides start to sell out, they start getting more expensive than balconies. So it depends on your budget. It depends on what you're looking to get out of it and why so many people love the inside, not just because they tend to be lower cost, but because they're totally black at night. You know, when you turn the lights out, it is a completely black cabin, and some people like to have it absolutely dark. Whereas if you have a balcony, there can be some light spill. Like if the ship keeps the lights on outside at night, there can be some light spill coming in, or certainly when the sun starts to come up, there will be some light spill coming in. But there is no best answer on what is the best cabin for your first cruise. Great question, and it is one of the things that we go through with our first time cruisers is, you know, what kind of a cabin do you want to get, and also where should it be on the ship too. You know, we tend to put our first time cruisers from the middle back. We try to keep them out of the front because the front is where you're going to get the most motion. So yeah. Let's see. Islander cruise. Barbara's saying that the Islander cruise with Walter is cheap, cheap, cheap. Yep, that's me. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Come on, the Islander. It is. So it's a very low cost cruise. It's a great cruise. So, which cruise line sail out of Fort Lauderdale? Pretty much everybody. Most of the cruise lines sail. Well, Carnival doesn't. So, but there's a bunch.
Norwegian doesn't.
Norwegian and Carnival don't, but a lot of the other ones do. And then if they don't sail out of Fort Lauderdale, they sail out of Miami. So pretty much everybody sails out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and they're so close that you're going to be in both. We got votes for 100. We got votes for Paradise Beach. Mr. Sancho's is a great all-inclusive. Sorry, guys, it took me a while to catch up. Mr. Sancho's is a great all-inclusive. So yeah, Pretty TK used the Princess discount, got a good deal, was able to go premium. Of course, love it. Douglas Cole, you have to move your Virgin Voyages cruise due to your wedding cruise coming up. Will you lose your deposit or rebook? Rebook. You want to rebook. You don't want to cancel. So if you rebook, for the most part, if it's your first time rebooking with Virgin Voyages, they will just move you over to the new cruise. There might be a penalty, but more often than not, as long as you're moving to another cruise with Virgin, they'll just move you over. So Douglas, I can't remember if I booked that for you or not. I can take care of that for you very easily. But if I didn't, just call Virgin Voyages. Be great. Kim Basach, you're welcome. Kel, can I repeat the name of the train that goes from Orlando to Miami, please? It is called the Bright Line train. It is fabulous. We have done it 3 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've done it 3 times because Rebecca went with me twice, and one time I went to a conference down in Fort Lauderdale. We'll be using it again in October when we go down to the Sun Princess. It is fabulous. I don't think I will ever drive to Miami again if I can help it.
And my big tip for anybody is, if you're considering doing it at all, sign up to be on their email list, because you'll get notices of when they have sales.
And like every week, like there's a BOGO going on right now for September. Buy one, get one free. Great comment from Rick. There's a lot of chatter on TikTok about travel agents who charge a fee and the ethics involved. Number one, no ethics involved at all. That is perfectly fine for travel agents to charge a fee. And
as long as they're open and upfront.
Exactly. As long as they're open and upfront about it. And generally, you're going to sign something upfront. A lot of them are now, at least the agents that I know of that do it, they're going to charge you a fee right up front before they even do anything. So you already know that there is there can be a planning fee, there can be a cancellation fee, and then depending on like how big the trip is, they may add more fees on top of that. So the ethics, there are no ethics concerns at all about that. That is 100% permissible, but as long as they're upfront about it, and as long as you know about it, and you should be signing something that says you understand that I am going to charge you a fee, and especially the cancellation fee. So, so in terms of an ethics discussion, there really shouldn't be one because it is 100% allowable in terms of charging a fee. We have had some group cruises. We were in the planning stage of one group cruise where we were talking about possibly adding, say, like a $25 planning fee per person because it was going to be a very large group cruise. And we thought that we were going to be more part of the event planning part of it. But then when that was, then it turned into, no, you guys should take care of the cruise. Like, okay, well, then the planning fee comes off because if we're just taking care of the cruise, we don't charge to plan a cruise. So that's the only time that we would charge a fee would be if there's going to be a larger cruise, say 200 or more people, and we're planning a lot of events, or maybe we're going to put together a swag bag. We might put together a charge for the swag bag or something like that. But yes, more and more travel agents do seem to be going the route of a fee. I know with KHM Travel Group, the group that I'm a part of, they have very open discussions about it. You can talk to the executives about it, to the support team, and they walk you through, the pluses and minuses. Now, when we were booking our own cruises, we never paid a fee to our travel advisor. So we adopted that model when we came over. And so far, knock on wood, it's working for us. And I hope that we never do have to charge a fee. But in the case of like a big group or an event type of a cruise, we may charge, a planning fee per person if our work goes beyond just planning the trip. My previous career in television, film, and marketing, I planned events for a couple hundred, a couple thousand. One event I was part of, there were 40,000 people in a dome. So I can plan events beyond just the cruise itself. And if we do that, then we might add a little planning in there. But there really should be no ethical concern about paying unless they're not telling you. That I have a huge problem with. If somebody was actually doing that. I also have a huge problem with some of these people who aren't travel agents pretending to be travel agents and booking people. We've seen some of that going on out there, and that gives us a bad name. And that really, I would like to see those people just prosecuted, thrown in jail, just done. Like no fine, you go to jail. You take people's money, you don't actually give them a trip, you go to jail. That's all there is to it. So that's my little soapbox moment. Thank you for bringing that up, Rick. But yeah. Let's see, where are we? I'm sorry, I'm catching up. NCL question from Alex. Do I have access to the solo lounge? Okay, great question from Alex. Do you have access to the solo lounge if you book a normal cabin as a solo traveler? The answer is no, unless you book a solo category. Now, Norwegian has expanded the solo category to include ocean views and balconies. If you book an actual solo category balcony or an ocean view, yes, you have access to the studio lounge. If you just book a standard category that is typically a double occupancy, but you're booking it by yourself, the answer is no. You don't get access to the solo lounge.
But if the
Great
category
question.
itself is labeled solo, regardless of the size of the cabin, then yes.
Yes. Just floating around makes a great comment. They were really shocked at how different the overall cruise experience is as you go from cruise line to cruise line. Going from Disney to Virgin to Royal was like a 180. Yeah, well, especially, Royal Caribbean is a completely different experience. That's what we try to tell folks. It's the cruise experience is going to be different on every single cruise line. And that's why it's so important. And actually on every single ship. So you brought up Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean has 25 ships, something like that, from the very, very small up to the Icon of the Seas, which has everything under the sun. Now, if you book the Grandeur of the Seas, which is their oldest ship, and you've been watching commercials about the Icon, guess what? You're going to be so disappointed because you're going to be like, where is everything on this ship? It's a very small ship. So your cruise experience, not only cruise line to cruise line, but it's ship to ship. And that's why whenever we talk about, people ask us, well, what's the best cruise line for this? What's the best cruise line for that? It's what's the best ship for that. And I am so excited to be going to Alaska on a 1,200 passenger ship. I think that's going to just enhance the whole experience because we're going to be on a smaller ship, less people getting on and off of the ports. We're going to be staying at the ports for like 12 and 13 hours, some of them. So we get a lot. So even that different experience. So yeah, they are really everything about it is so different from cruise line to cruise line. But especially you talked about Disney and Virgin and go to Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is one of the best, cruise lines out there, especially in terms of a family cruise line. But it is a totally different experience than going on a Disney or a Virgin or something like that. So yeah, great point. Eric said, I got him a solo balcony for less than a solo interior. Yep. See that's what happens, especially as the ships start to sell out. The interiors shoot up. The interiors just shoot right up. So Ivory, will we ever do a group cruise on MSC? We actually started to. We had one. We actually put the group together, but then MSC has this weird rule where if I book the cabin in the booking engine, it's only going to be guaranteed, and then I have to call MSC to convert it to an actual cabin.
And have to call the groups department.
And I have to call the groups department, which is only open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, not open on the weekends. So I have a problem with that, because you might say, hey, Walt, we're going to get this balcony, and it's going to be, and I want like this balcony here, or I want this suite, and it's Friday afternoon or Saturday. I can't get you that actual cabin. I got to wait until Monday to call, and who knows, the cabin may or may not be there. So until MSC changes that, I know there's a lot of groups that go out on MSC, but that's one of the big things that I've talked to my rep about. And actually, it's killing me right now on the Margaritaville Islander too, because at least we talk, and I can immediately call the groups department and say, hey, tell me what is the breezy balcony that's available right now, and can I get them? So yes, I do want to do a group. We had a group. We were going to do it on the seaside, I think it was, or the seascape, something. So I do want to do a group on MSC. I just want them to allow us to book the group cabin. Margaritaville is working on that right now. They're getting their whole booking engine. CW has a comment here. Please let those know who are born in Puerto Rico know that they may be denied boarding if they have an older birth certificate.
I forget what the date cutoff is.
Yeah.
But there is a certain date that if your birth certificate was issued before then, then it will not function as an option for boarding a cruise.
There you go. So,
and I don't even know why that was.
I don't know.
But
CW, thank you for the information. Great point. Every single cruise line has an FAQ. Every single cruise line has travel documents in their FAQ. This is what you must have to board our ship. It doesn't matter what they say on the forums. It doesn't matter what people say on social media. It doesn't even matter what I say on the show. Whatever it says in that FAQ that had been updated most recently by the cruise line, that's the travel document that you must have. If you have a question about it, you need to reach out to the cruise line, or you reach out to your travel advisor, and then I reach out to my contact and say, hey, I've got a client coming in from Puerto Rico. It looks like the birth certificate's going to be okay. Will it be okay? And then I'm going to get that definitive answer. Thank you,
and you do have to pay attention to where you're a citizen of. And in the case of the U.S., if you're a citizen of not one of the 50 states, then there may be other requirements.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kel's saying that you booked MSC from Miami, that we booked you. You're doing a few days at Disney, so the train is a good option to get there. 1,000%, folks. You now can combine Disney, Universal, Legoland, SeaWorld with a Southern Florida cruise. It is so easy. It is a 3.5-hour train ride from Miami to get to Orlando. You are taken directly to the Orlando airport, where you start from the Orlando airport. And then it's just your ride of choice to get to Universal, to get to Disney. We've seen the Disney minivans show up. The actual minivans are black, or they're pink with the polka dots. I saw one of those pull up and either drop off or pick up somebody at the Brightline train. So when you are at the Brightline train, you are now within, say, 20 minutes of getting to Disney and Universal very easily. So
depending on traffic.
Yeah. So you can absolutely now take a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and combine it with an Orlando theme park visit, or just coming up to Orlando for whatever. It is so easy. Pretty TK, any tips for your first Scarlet night? You've been told not to miss it on Virgin Voyages. Our biggest tip is earplugs, actually.
Yeah.
It is the volume of an outdoor concert. It sounds great. They really do a great job with their sound mix, but it is incredibly loud. If you're going to jump in the pool, make sure that your phone is out of your pocket, because there is they try to keep you from the deep end now, but you're going to get wet if you jump in the pool. and just enjoy it. I prefer to go up to deck 16, which is above the pool. I prefer to go up there and just kind of watch and dance up there versus getting in the big crowd on deck 15, but have a good time. Earplugs is my biggest thing. So, hey, Desiree, you're boarding the Norwegian Joy. That is so awesome. Oh no. Oh, you left your certificate in the suitcase. We'll just get that out. So yay, but you're going on Norwegian. That is so awesome. Have a great time, Desiree.
That is an important reminder that whatever documentation you're bringing to board the ship, do not put it in your checked luggage.
Yes.
Always have it on you in your purse or your backpack or your carry-on. So
what Desiree is saying, accidentally she left her birth certificate. She accidentally left her travel documents in the suitcase. Suitcase is now checked. It's going through its thing. She needs her document to get on the ship. So good reminder, Desiree, you're going to get it. I know you're going to get it. You're going to get on the ship. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to take a little while for them to find your luggage, but they're going to get you on there. But when you are approaching the cruise terminal, before you walk into the cruise terminal, just get we like to have everything in our hands. You know, Rebecca gets it out of her bag. We've got it in our hands before we even approach it. So you're not even like digging through, because if you start digging through and then you realize that, you know, a situation like Desiree where like she checked her bag, it's like, oh, I got to go run and get my bag. So check everything. Desiree, we're sending positive thoughts. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to get on. Have an amazing time. Go get yourself a nice drink once you get on the ship. That will just take all the stress away. So Raphael is asking you to do an appearance. Rafi, she does not appear on the live show. She does appear on some videos, though.
Reluctantly.
Yeah. Victoria Michael, you booked with Royal Caribbean in October, but now you now you need to add 3 more people, probably 2 rooms. Can we help? Yeah, we can actually. So the interesting thing about that is every single cabin is an individual booking. So even though you booked your original cruise with Royal Caribbean, we can book you. We can book the new cabins for you, no problem at all. And we should be, even if I can't cross-reference the original bookings with the new ones, like for dinners and stuff, I can get Royal Caribbean to do that. So yeah, that's a great question. Every single stateroom on every single cruise ship is an individual booking. So even if you book 5 cabins today, every one of those is going to be an individual booking. So yeah, I can book. You need to add 3 more people, probably 2 rooms. Absolutely. I can't add anybody to a currently booked room. You have to do that with Royal Caribbean. But I can book the new cabins, and then we can cross-reference them with the old cabin. So yeah, reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com. You're watching me on TikTok, so hit that logo, and the first thing on there says contact us. Just set up a time for a call. That's how we work, folks. We set up a phone call. We have a chat, and then we do a follow-up phone call and talk about your cruises. So yeah, we would be absolutely happy to help out.
And just kind of side note for people, if you've booked directly with the cruise line and you decide you would like to transfer it to a travel agent, there's a time window in which you can do that.
You can do that if you want. Yeah. You can transfer it if you'd like. Usually it's between 14 and 30 days of the day of booking with a cruise line. You can transfer it over. Some people say, well, what's the advantage of that? The main advantage is that then we can help manage it for you, so you're not calling. I see all of these things in the forums, man. Oh, I was on hold with such and such cruise line for 2 hours. I was just trying to get a price check. I can do a price check in less than 5 minutes, you know. And you mentioned Royal Caribbean. I can literally do the price check and change the price in less than 5 minutes. And you're not on hold at all. You just drop me a text, you drop me an email, and you're like, hey, Walt, I think the price went down on the cabin. Can you check? And I check. And if it really did, and you're not going to lose anything by me doing the price check, boom, I just do it right there. And you are not on hold. So that's a big advantage. And then, of course, if anything goes sideways, you know, I've got Kathy at Royal Caribbean. Kathy is like the most amazing. Tamika's still the best. Tamika at Virgin Voyages is the best. But, you know, I've got actual people that I can call if I'm not getting the answers that I want. They're not the first people I call. I will work with my counterparts at Royal Caribbean first. But then if I'm not getting anywhere, well, then I'm going to bring Kathy in and we're going to get something solved. So yeah. CW is saying that your father was denied boarding on a cruise because of the older Puerto Rico birth certificate. That is so sad. I'm going to do a TikTok about that. Thank you, CW, for talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a TikTok about that. We're going to look that up and find out what the year is.
Yeah, I know of this. I just can't remember specifically what the.
Yeah.
But this is one of the reasons many reasons why we really recommend, even if you don't technically need a passport to travel, it's so much better to have it, because that would not be an issue.
Yeah. And passports are good for 10 years here in the U.S., so we highly recommend them.
Yes.
MG, you're doing NCL in Alaska. I don't think it's the Viva. It's probably the Encore or Bliss, I think. The Viva is not doing Alaska, to my knowledge. But what the odds it will be snowing in October? It could happen. It could happen. Yeah. Yeah, the Bliss or the Encore are the two that do it out of Seattle. It could happen. The big issue that I have with going up there in October, and you're still going to have an amazing time, is that a lot of stuff starts closing in September. You know, Norwegian is really the only cruise line still going up there in October. They stretch the season all the way out almost to Halloween. So, but you are doing the Viva. Nice. Out of Lisbon in 2 weeks. Holy crap. What a great cruise. What a great cruise you're going to be on. Both of them are going to be amazing. But Norwegian is literally, I think they're the only cruise line still running in October. So most of the land-based stuff has now closed. The stores are closing. The restaurants are closing.
Tour operators.
The only tour operators that are still running are the ones that Norwegian is now paying. So October, it's really more of like a chance to see the Northern Lights. But in terms of an Alaska cruise, I typically don't book anybody past the second week in September.
Unless they really, really want.
Unless they really, really want to go in October, because I think the experience, it's not lessened, but you're certainly like again, a lot of the places are going to be closed, because having one cruise ship come in every week, or one or two cruise ships come in every week versus 20, it's a lot less people. So it's a lot harder for a lot of those places to stay open. So that is the only downside. And it's something that Norwegian won't tell you. It's something I will. Is that while you may see the Northern Lights, one of our friends did it, actually did the October cruise on Norwegian, and that was his only complaint. They saw the Northern Lights. He was like, oh my God, we actually saw the Northern Lights. It was amazing. But every time we went to a port, it was like we could do the Norwegian thing. That was pretty much it. If we weren't doing a Norwegian thing, everything else was closed. Like there was maybe one restaurant that was open, maybe one shop that was open. So that is the downside. The other plus side is, there's no crowds. Literally, no crowds. I can't imagine doing that zip line in October though. Woo, that'll be something. I'm doing it in June, but I can't imagine that. So, and Rick is confirming the passport. It's always the best bet. Too many things can go wrong with a birth certificate. I'm telling you folks, look, I know some people, I don't want to spend money on it.
And I get it. If maybe it's your first cruise, you're not sure you're going to like cruising. You have no plans to travel by plane anywhere.
Yeah.
But after your first cruise, if you like it, if you like your first cruise enough,
get the passport. Pretty TK wants to book a universal vacation package. Your daughter has an annual pass. I don't know how to book that. So the annual pass has nothing to do with the vacation pass.
Well, it does.
Sometimes there's a discount for annual pass holders. You would just book that directly through Universal. If you want to take advantage of any kind of a hotel offer, you just book that directly through. I don't know if that's something I can book a Universal vacation. I just had a client do a full Universal vacation, but I don't know that I can book anything with an annual pass discount. But if she has the annual pass, then obviously she doesn't need the pass. You're going to need the multi-day pass for while you're there.
But you can buy those elements separately, the hotel, the passes.
You can.
So.
But I can buy them as a package, and it did actually come out cheaper than buying the hotel, booking the hotel by itself, and then buying the ticket by itself. It did actually come out cheaper booking it as a package through our supplier.
But there was no annual pass involved in that.
No annual pass involved. So, so you would just have to check with that. Folks, it is now coming up on 12:30. Coming up on 12:30. Yeah, Pretty TK, you're going to need a pass to both parks, Universal and Islands of Adventure, if you want to do the whole Harry Potter package, especially if you want to take the train.
It's got to be the one that will let you do both parks in one day.
Nurse Tara, I'm so sorry, I missed that. How far in advance should you book a flight for February? As soon as you see a good rate. Honestly, flights come up about 9 months out. And so you start looking at them at about 9 months out. So we're well within that right now. But I would book it the moment you see, a flight that works for you, time frame and price wise. we start looking, we have some clients that are like, can you please start looking, like right when they come up? And we do. I'll set myself a reminder and start looking as soon as they come up. So basically you book your flight as soon as you see the one you like and the one that works within your budget. So, but I can see that's coming up on 12:30. I've got a meeting starting at 1 o'clock. So we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to remind everybody, we are an independent travel advisor. And if we can help you in any way with your travel, just reach out. where'swaltertravel.com. Our services are 100% free to you. We do not charge a dime for our services right now. We're very proud of that. And we just love to help you guys. So over on the YouTube side, Facebook and all of that, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be back Thursday night. It's probably just going to be us. We're going to be talking Thursday night on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for about an hour about cruising. And then next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m., we'll be right back here. So we're going to say goodbye to all of you and have an awesome rest of your Sunday.